Have you ever seen a bone blossom worth over 23 trillion shekels? But what's even crazier is that this is nowhere close to the theoretical max value of a single bone blossom, which is close to 850 trillion shekels. That's right. 85 followed by 16 zeros. No other plant in Grow a Garden even comes close to those numbers, and that's exactly why bone blossom has become the top meta for making money in the game right now. But let's be real. You can't just plant bone blossoms randomly and expect them to grow big. In fact, most players only manage to grow tiny ones worth a few million, maybe a few hundred million if they're lucky. Nowhere near enough if you're trying to hit real financial breakthroughs. So the question is, how do you consistently grow huge, high-value bone blossoms without wasting time and while maximizing your efficiency? If that's the question on your mind, then this video is exactly what you need. Let's skip the fluff and get right into it.
Nice.
Let's talk about what I personally think is the most efficient method right now. Using Triceratops pets combined with sprinklers to pump out massive bone blossoms like a factory. If you've already got a few Triceratops, this method is absolutely worth the investment. First, let's break down the mechanic. Triceratops have a passive skill that triggers every 3 minutes, instantly making the plants they hit grow to full bloom. And if you time it right, especially with sprinklers activated, you have a real shot at spawning an insanely huge bone blossom. Here's how it works step by step. First, you'll need at least one Triceratops, but ideally, you should have as many as you can. I only have 4 right now. Then, clear your garden until it has no more than 3 plants, including the bone blossoms. That's important. Each Triceratops only hits up to 3 plants per skill activation. If you plant too many, they might hit other random plants in your base instead of the bone blossoms that you want. Now, for the timing. Each Triceratops activates its skill every 3 minutes. So the trick is to stagger their placement by about 20 seconds each. For example, drop the first one at 0 seconds, the second at 20 seconds, the third at 40 seconds, etc., and so on. This creates a steady rhythm where one skill activates every 20 seconds instead of all at once. Right before each skill activates, specifically when the cooldown hits about 10 seconds remaining, you should drop your sprinklers. At minimum, use 1 master sprinkler. If you also have a basic, advanced, and godly sprinkler, add them too. But remember, sprinkler effects don't stack, so only 1 of each type is needed. Once the sprinklers are down, harvest all the bone blossoms already on your plants and keep a close eye on them. When the Triceratops hits the bone blossoms, they'll instantly bloom. Your job now is to check and harvest them quickly, but be careful! If you see a huge blossom, make sure to favorite it immediately so you don't accidentally harvest it. For the other smaller or average blossoms, just clear them out so your next round of blooms isn't delayed. Thanks to the 20-second timing gap between each Triceratops, you'll always have something to harvest without needing to reset your whole setup. And don't worry, you don't have to reset your sprinklers every time. Master sprinklers last long enough to cover multiple skill activations. Once your loop gets going, you'll be running a non-stop bone blossom factory with a much higher chance of getting massive blossoms compared to passive AFK methods. Overall, this Triceratops plus sprinkler method is easily the best value play if you've got the pets. It doesn't demand an insane amount of resources, and the results are insane. That's all for today. If this video helped, please like and subscribe so I can keep making more content like this. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.